Yeah, hello there. In this video I'm going to show you how to open and hopefully repair a KitchenAid 5-speed hand blender. As you might have realized, I suppose that's the reason why you come to this YouTube video, that device is normally not supposed to be opened because it's all glued and all fixed together in a very tricky way. So I find this rather nasty, but anyhow, as you see, I already took the thing apart, and as you see, it's possible to open it. You might need some tools, for instance a gripper like that, and 2 screwdrivers, which is a cross-tip screwdriver and a normal one, and also you will need a cutter knife, which should be reasonably sharp. So as you see, I already took the thing apart, and as I don't have a spare device or a new device where I can show you how to open it from the very start, I will fix it and put it together again, and you will have to manage to proceed in the opposite way. I will explain some things meanwhile when it gets a little bit tricky, so that when you follow that video you will be easily able to to open it and to repair it. So in my case, as you see, this is the electronic device. In my case it was, let's see, this little thing, which is a fuse, so-called thermistor, which is not supposed to be how do you say, demolished, because actually it should be a fuse and repair itself again. Anyhow, that thing is broke, and I'm going to fix it, and in my case also, which possibly caused the whole thing, as you see, the cable was heated up, and I suppose this is why that little fuse broke. So I'm going to fix it, and then we will continue. So meanwhile, I have replaced the thing, and then we're going to get it back again in here, which is obviously not quite easy to show on the camera, so I'm trying to do my very best. Of course, maybe you have to lengthen these 2 wires a little bit in order to find your way in here. So you will realize that there is some kind of 2 rails in here. I don't know if you might see it, where you have to put it in, and also you have to take care that switch here is pushed in order that it doesn't get in conflict with that thing over here. So let's try to get it in. It's quite obvious that when you put it apart, you will obviously see, no, that's not in there. It's not the way it's supposed to be. Okay, now, I don't know if you see it. Now it fits in, and we may put it down here all the way, and I don't know. So that next part is a bit tricky to film, and this is why I have taken and installed a lamp, because once you have that thing pushed in again, you will have to get these 2 cables here, that one and this one, ups here, back on the pins of the motor. Or you will have to use maybe a gripper or even a screwdriver. You have to figure that out. And as you see, I marked here before with a permanent marker where the black cable has to come, because otherwise maybe the thing is turning in the opposite direction, which is not very wise. So I'm going to fix these two cables now and get that electronic device regularly in. So now I fixed the cables. As you maybe will see, it's not quite easy to see on the motor again. This part and this part, maybe you can see it. And before now we get the electronic device in back again, so just a moment, I have to have a try if the thing works. So I just, push the button here. And as we see, it works again, fortunately. But before I take the electronic part in again, just unplug it for security reasons. We have to take that little part in again, which goes like this. If you unbox the thing before, you will easily be able to, hopefully easily be able to understand how the thing comes in. Should be pushed up and then see, it should go in there, it should go down. So now we have to press it a little bit so that it sticks nicely in here with that pence, with that gripper. And now we might pull the whole thing in again until it sticks nicely. How do we do it? Until it sticks nicely onto that. So get that bloody thing in. Okay, fix the cables. It's a bit tricky. Okay, get it on here. And now eventually we should be able to get that part on here. You see, now it's nicely fitting. And finally get the screws in again. Let's take that one. So I advise you to turn it counterclockwise until you get a little click, so that you're right running in the former so that we don't damage anything. Last one, and then we have another try if it's still working. Otherwise we have to reopen it again. So that's it. Okay. So now, as soon as you put this thing in again and screwed that on, you will have to attach this strange rubber thing to it, which I will do with some glue. Make sure that it's working here. You will see that when you remove it, it's basically not glued on here. So a little bit around here, that switch thing, but it's quite easy to get that thing off, which I will show you later how you do it. And eventually, if it doesn't work properly, you will have to take your cutter knife and from there on to cut it a little bit, step by step. It's a bit tricky to do it because you will have to lift it first from over here with a screwdriver all around, at least from here to here, and then slowly tear it off and maybe cut a little bit here with your cutter knife. So, unfortunately, as I have marked the cable, I forgot to mark that thing in order to see where that little potentiometer, how you would call it, has to be. So I have to figure it out where is the lowest and where is the highest speed in order to put it in properly later, because it will have to go in there. You see that little nose, if you see it, it has to go in there later on. So, what I'm going to do is to take a little bit of that glue. Doesn't look too properly, but it's still working. It's a so-called contact glue, which you will have to use, and I will all glue it on and then glue that whole thing together again. You will see also that you will find some little holes in there, and on the other side some little noses like that, and you will have to open that holes again with a little screwdriver, that these little pins or noses are properly fitting in the end in that holes, so that it looks nicely and looks like a brand new sort of KitchenAid hand blender. So I'm going to glue that on now, and then we are going to make the rest, and I show you what's about this item, how you lift it off. So, yes, you see, meanwhile, I'll just put a bit this little glue here till it gets too sticky. Meanwhile, I managed to put the thing together again, although I have to admit that the glue did not work as nicely as I thought it would. So in order to get that thing off, you will find two joints here, and you will have to cut with that cutter all along as precisely as you can from that joint in order to be able to rip that rubber thing off in the end. So, as you see, it's still working, and I've managed to get a little tool here just to figure out the speeds. That's the lowest speed, so this will be 1 in the end. So this is where we have the mark right on top of the cable, sorry. This is where we have the mark, and this is where number 1 should go now. Okay? So, just to finish it, I will, just to show you, I will press that thing down. Hopefully it works. Yes, it does. So, I still think I made a mistake because it doesn't go right up. So I will have to open it again, and on that occasion I can show you how to open it. You don't have to be too brutal there, but still careful, because eventually you see you will damage the thing a little bit. So let's try that again. What do we have? Maybe we go in the other way and go on the 5. Okay, there we have the 5. And then we'll go on the 5 this time. C, 5. And press it down again. Hopefully it'll shoot. Yes. Perfect. Okay, so have fun. As I said, if you do it the first time, you will have to go all around with a screwdriver and lift it up step by step. Don't be too careful. You have to take some power in it all around, and eventually that thing will come up, because it's only clipped on that thing. And that is, well, that is how you open and eventually repair a KitchenAid 5-speed hand blender. Have good luck. Thank you for watching.